Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we will see a question based on projection of solids. Projection of a pentagonal pyramid. Question is, a pentagonal pyramid, height 60 mm and base edge 30 mm is resting on a corner of its base. The lateral edge containing that corner is inclined at 60 degrees with HP and axis is inclined at 40 degrees with VP. Draw the projection when the nearest point is at a distance of 20 mm away from VP and the base is to the left of the apex and away from VP. So here it is a pentagonal pyramid and it is given that it is resting on a corner. So you want to start a pentagon with the corner on the right side or edge on the left side. So first you draw an edge perpendicular to the reference line like this at 30 mm, and from there you measure 108 degrees. So for a pentagon, 188 degrees is the included angle. So in that way 108 degrees, then you draw BC. So in that way you can name this, you can draw this pentagon, name this ABCDE, and now you want to locate the centroid. To locate the centroid, draw a line from this corner, from any one corner to the opposite line midpoint, from one corner to the opposite line midpoint. So and another corner to its opposite line midpoint. So these two lines will meet here, and that point is the apex. Now you draw slant lines from all this from this apex to all 5 corners. So name this point as O. Do the dimension also 30 mm. So you can erase the unwanted lines, which is the line from this apex to this base. That line you can erase. So only lines from the apex to this corner should be there. So this is the top view of the initial position. Now to get the front view of this position, you just project all these projection lines from all these points to the reference line. Now from there it is given that height of the height of the object is 60 mm. So from here, this is the axis. So from here you mark 60 mm upwards using a chain line to represent that it's an axis. So name that point as O dash, and at these points you can name it. This is the front view. So this is the top view. So to get the front view, just this top view you want to see from bottom. So or from here. Okay, if you see this diagram from here, first B is coming and then A. So it is B dash and A dash. So in this diagram it is C and E. So this is C dash and E dash, and then this is D dash. So in that way you can draw the name. You can name the front view. Now connect all those points to the apex. You can get the front view of this initial position. Do the dimension as 60 mm. Now you want to it is given that the object is resting on this corner with this slant edge inclined 60 degrees. The lateral edge containing that corner is inclined 60 degrees. So this is lateral edge. So this line is inclined at 60 degrees. So you want to turn it like this. This edge is you want to turn it like this. So for that, first you mark a point here, and at 60 degrees you draw a line of this much length, O dash D dash length line you mark here. This O dash D dash length you mark here from a point at 60 degrees. Now measure this angle. This angle you can mark from here like this, and this dimension you mark from there. So you can get that triangle. Now you measure this dimension and this dimension. So you can mark that dimension here like this. Then you draw those lines. So since here it is axis, so you want to use it chain line like this. Now do the naming like this: O1 dash, B1 dash, A1 dash, C1 dash, E1 dash, and D1 dash. Mark the angle 60 degrees. Draw that triangle. Now to get the fourth diagram, you just draw projection lines from all these 5 points like this. Now draw vertical lines from all these points to the corresponding line, from O1 dash to O, A1 dash to A, and B1 dash to B, C1 dash to C, and D1 dash to D, E1 dash to E. So in that way you can get 5 points here and 6 points here, including apex. So connect those points and get the top view of the tilted diagram like this. In this case, you want to since it is turned towards right, some points will be invisible in this case. So in this case, you to get the invisible edges here, you want to see the first diagram. So in first diagram, E and C are top and bottom points, two extremes, upper and lower extremes. So since the object is turned towards right like this, so whatever points extremes, whatever points coming towards right of that will be invisible. So that means D will be invisible. That means all the lines to the point D will be invisible in the fourth diagram. Since the object is turned towards right, you consider the upper and lower extremes, and the point which is coming on the right side of that, D. So D will be invisible. So all the lines to the point D will be invisible. So you have E1 D1, D1 C1, and D1 O1 will be invisible, and other lines will be visible. Now you want to, it is given that the axis, top view of the axis is inclined 40 degrees with VP. So, and also the nearest point is 20 mm away from VP. So from here you draw a line at 40 degrees like this, and mark 20 mm vertical like this. From here you mark 20 mm. So that is your base point. From there you want to construct this. Based on that point you want to construct this pentagonal pyramid top view here. So for that, this mark a point here, draw 40 degree line and mark a point at 20 mm here like this. Now that point, from that point you just measure this dimension and this dimension, and mark that dimension here 1, 2 and 3. Now from here you want to mark this dimension upwards and downwards. So from here, this point, you mark that dimension towards left and right like this, and from this point you mark this dimension and this dimension towards up left and right. So that means from here you want to mark that dimension here and here. So you can get some 5 points here. Connect that, use chain lines to dotted lines to represent E2 D2, D2 O2 and O2 C2. All other lines should be dark lines here. Now to get the final position, just draw projection lines from here like this, and also from here. So meeting of each point you have to consider. So A and A1 dash, A2 and A1 dash will give you A2 dash, E2 and E1 dash will give you E1 dash, E2 dash, B2 and B1 dash will give you B2 dash, C2 and C1 dash will give you C2 dash, D2 and D1 dash will give you D2 dash, and O2 and O1 dash will give you O2 dash, E2 and E1 dash will give you E2 dash. So once you get all those 5 points, connect those points by using straight lines like this, you can get the final position. So in this case, some points will be invisible in the sixth diagram. To get the invisible points in the sixth diagram, consider the points which are coming below inside this bracket here. Okay, before that, since the base is coming towards the observer like this, that means base is visible here. So this base will be visible, and now you mark that base here. This is observer is here. This is the front view. So for this front view, observer is here. So base is coming near to observer and away from apex, away from vertical plane. So base is near to observer. So base is visible in this case. So base is visible here. Now you want to, after drawing the visible base, you want to draw the extreme line, that is extreme line border or boundary. Draw the boundary also. Now some lines will be invisible here. So to get the invisible edges here, now the point A, you consider this diagram. In this diagram, the points A and E are inside bracket. So all the lines to the point A and E will be invisible. But here you have this after border, this point, that is the E will be, this line will be invisible, and also this line also will be invisible because this line is coming inside the border here. So inside boundary. So this line and this line will be invisible. Now mark those two lines as invisible. Now to get the axis, you want to mark the axis so that you can get a three-dimensional look. So to get a three-dimensional appearance, so first you draw a line from a corner to opposite line midpoint here like this, and another line to the opposite line midpoint. Those two lines will meet here. So from here, this point to the apex, you can draw the axis. So use a chain line to represent the axis. So in that way you can get the final position also. So this is how you draw a projection of a pentagonal pyramid. Hope you understood this diagram, how to draw this projection of pentagonal pyramid. Please like this video and try to, if possible, you subscribe also. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.